Usually, before I go shaking my tits for the press, I like to go see how the professionals do it. Some might say the chief of police has no business in an institution like this, but in fact it's the quietest and safest place in town. You won't run into any reporters, nobody gets into any fights, nobody drinks too much, nobody even raises their voice. The place is owned by an elderly gentleman who knows how to keep things under control. That's why I never invite my friends here. I wanted to make an exception for my 60th birthday, but most of my colleagues are young enough to be my sons, and they'd rather just hire prostitutes. Why stare at some boobs when you can take the whole package for yourself? But there's none of that in our club. Even looking too long is considered indecent. You can get an occasional glimpse, like by accident. The rest of the time you just pretend that you're immersed in conversation, or just come by for a drink. Doesn't mean these gentlemen wouldn't want their bald heads smothered in tits. It's just that nobody says it out loud. My younger colleagues might call it hypocrisy, but I call it the good old-fashioned manners. Good manners and leave the rest unsaid. She agrees to unbutton her blouse, and we agree not to pay too much attention. The girls are on a quiet prowl, too. They're looking for a way out of their cramped rooms. Maybe make friends with some wealthy patron with a pacemaker and dentures. Everybody wants something. But we have to control ourselves, or we'll all turn into libertines and prostitutes. Hell, if there weren't any rules, I'd be belching and farting, jumping up on the table, arms held high, yelling, "Shake it, baby!" No idea how I got so barbaric.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Fat and the Furious. This is the police. Let's be some pigs today. Major Roger. You know what? He's a major now. Whatever. Fuck it. Sex maniac. Mark War II to be shown in Friesburg the day before the worldwide premiere by the mayor's personal request. City Hall confirms rumor of Jack Bloyd's resignation. I think we're Jack Bloyd.
When I was a kid, my father sometimes told me at bedtime that if I closed my eyes and didn't open them for a long time, all the demons would blow away. Yesterday I turned 60, but I still take his advice. Not because I'm sentimental or want to keep the memory of my father alive. I just can't think of a better solution. To get away from all the demons that haunt Freiburg, I'd need to wear a blindfold 24/7. Plus, it's a good idea to act blind when talking to reporters. At least that's what my colleagues say. They're afraid of press conferences. But for me, it's more like a confessional. No matter what lies you tell, you're privately thinking the honest answers. It helps me remember who I am. The fact that I'll be reading all about it in the papers tomorrow is a small price to pay. Call it penance for the preacher. This is the first time I'm afraid of those answers my mind has given me. Not because I'm mad I'm losing my job. Though it's true, I'm mad as hell. Not because I subconsciously blame everyone else. Though I damn sure do blame them. And don't even ask me what my next move is. I can't imagine. But even that doesn't scare me. The worst thing is, I know I'm gonna have to do something. I'll be damned if I know how far I'll go. I may have a lot of vices, but predictability isn't one of them. I learned a long time ago how to drive away the swarming demons. But what do you do when they're trying to rip your soul from your skin? Shutting my eyes tight as I can. The best solution remains the same. Play blind. I just hope the reporters think I was blinded by the camera flash.
Good morning. Yesterday, the mayor's office officially announced her resignation. Did this come as a surprise, or did you know about it in advance? You know what? Screw the mayor. Do you already know the name of your successor? I have no clue. After the recent corruption scandal, your deputy, Francis Kendrick, said he was looking forward to resigning. If the mayor offered him your position, would that change his mind? No way. Although Kendrick was acquitted, many still believe that the police are cooperating with the mafia. Do you have anything to say about this? That fake news bullshit. Excuse me, but that's a pile of horseshit. The mafia and the police working together, maybe in the cahoots with the aliens? The mafia are a bunch of low-life criminals. How about someone ask a real question? Ooh, call about. Do you think your personal relationship with the mayor could be the reason behind your retirement? Definitely. Of course it's the reason. Personal relations are always important, no matter what anyone says. No, thank you.
How's the back today, Mr. Boyd?
Same as usual.
How did the press conference go?
You can read about it in the newspapers tomorrow. Don't let anyone in.
Even Mr. Kendrick?
Especially Mr. Kendrick. As soon as I heard the door creak, I knew what face I'd see. When I tell Emma not to let anyone in, there's only one man it could be. Rude, arrogant, no warning. That's Mayor Rogers in a nutshell. White summer shoes, white socks, white shorts, white polo shirt, and the white smile of a hungry shark.
White privilege.
Mayor Rogers enters every room like he owns the place. Even the floorboards under his feet sound like they're creaking an apology. He never shied away from the odd corruption scheme. It's like the devil walks behind him. In the movies, the villains controlling the city play golf with the judges. Rogers plays tennis with them instead. That's about the only difference.
Jack, I was hoping to catch you after the press conference. You ran away so quick.
There's no smoking at City Hall. No reason for me to hang around.
Well, this morning I signed a ban on smoking in all public buildings. Soon you won't be able to smoke here either.
Soon enough, I won't be here at all.
That's what I wanted to talk to you about. The people of this city like you, Jack. The police chief of all people. Don't betray that, Jack. Don't get wrapped up in any schemes. Sit nice and quiet for the next 180 days, and you'll be remembered as a hero. That's the only thing that you still have left. Be the hero.
Then how am I supposed to scrape together a retirement fund?
You had a million chances to secure a luxury pension, one that even I would have envied, although I've never set aside any money for myself. I'm not planning to retire anytime soon. "180 days of quiet, Jack. That's all I need. I don't have any problems with you, and you won't have any problems with me. I have a new assistant, Troy Starr. If you have something to tell me, call him. But try not to bother him. He's a busy man."
I'll do my best.
"And quit smoking up the office. One of my friends will be using it soon."
I'm sorry, babe. Only the mayor has this number. Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, is this Troy Starr?
Yes?
Go fuck yourself, Troy Starr.
Next police chief could be one of Bloyd's subordinates. Francis Kendrick could replace Jack Bloyd. Jack Bloyd confirms police What? No, I didn't. Confirms police What? Fake news.
Cops don't use the police station cafeteria anymore. There's some kind of stigma against sitting shoulder to shoulder with your partners. Everybody just takes snacks from the machines or grabs a meal and hammers it down in the corner like a vulture on a corpse. The main thing? Don't look into anyone's eyes. Could be construed as an invitation to sit together. The only people eaten here are ghosts. My deputy, Francis Kendrick. He recently became one of those ghosts. The subject of one of the most devastating corruption scandals in the history of Freeburg. No evidence to support the accusations, but everyone knows Kendrick's days are numbered. I need that file I asked for. Needs to be ready tonight. Francis didn't say anything, but I understood. Ghosts aren't supposed to talk. Besides, I got a feeling he was already finished.
Alright, so before we get into this tutorial and all that, the police is a kind of strategic, tactical, using your supplies correctly and right. What you do is you allocate, police officers to go do things and all report on missions and stuff like that. And if your police officers aren't well trained enough, they do really bad. But if they're trained up enough and they have a high enough, police score, I think it's called, they can successfully do the missions. Sometimes you'll be able to interact with the missions, make some decisions. This will probably be... I don't know how long this game is. I know there's a second game as well, which I will definitely be playing. But we'll be starting with this first game. You know what? Show me what you got. Freeburg PD organizes upcoming work assignments into shifts for today and tomorrow. Every shift, officers respond to crimes in progress, and detectives continue their investigations. You can freely move employees between shifts. All officers and detectives possess several important characteristics. I think that means he's an alcoholic. Professionalism shows the overall efficiency of your policeman. A figure around 150 is considered average. Any policeman who falls short of this mark is not entirely reliable, while those whose professionalism is considerably higher than average are a safe bet. Even in a pinch, an individual's level of professionalism may rise and fall over the course of their career. Energy shows how tired your policemen are. The less energy your people have, the less reliable their work, and a policeman who is exhausted might fall asleep at the wheel or make a critical error on the job. Your employees lose 1 point of energy after each working day and restore 1 point after each day of rest. Your employees don't tell you everything. Some additional characteristics are hidden from view. For instance, some cops are lazy and will come up with any reason they can think of to take a day off, while others drink too much. You can only guess about these things, but you should be able to draw your own conclusion based on the behavior of your employees. Alright, so these are our two detectives. We got Black Boy and we got wannabe Al Capone. Oh, we have another one, Mole. We got Price. Looks like she's about ready to kick the bucket. We got Kochi. Probably the best person we have. Yansei. I don't know how to pronounce that. Pretty good. Prudy. What a prude. She looks like a pretty good worker. So these guys, the goal is, I think we have to match these guys, like, especially Price with, like, Kochi, just to get the missions to work right. To Shibaki, I'll probably match with Prudy just to make sure that that her professionalism goes up. I'll match all these guys with, like, the higher people just to make sure the professionalism starts rising. Alright. SWAT team. What? I don't remember the SWAT team. Responding to calls is the bread and butter of police work. You'll need to send your officers to the crime scene before their timer expires. A mark on the map shows where the call came from. The farther away the destination is from the police station, the longer it will take your officers to travel back and forth. So the longer your people will be tied up and unable for upcoming work. Okay, before we do that, I have to just turn off that music. I can't. I don't want to get that fat copyright strike, so... Also, the game is just really loud. I don't know why. Alright. The easiest way to determine how difficult a task might be is to check how many units you are allowed to send on the call. The more units you can send, the more serious the alleged threat. Particularly risky missions give you the option of sending SWAT, but they must be accompanied by at least one officer. The number of slots is not the only thing to consider. Any available information from the location of the crime scene to the presence of weapons and so on, all of this can tell you how seriously each case should be taken. A mission might look simple at first glance until it turns into a brutal meat grinder, or a serious call can come in which turns out to be a false alarm. Okay, so hit and run. A married couple exited a convenience store and saw a van in the parking lot back over a homeless man who had been digging through a trash can. The driver jumped out to help, but once he saw that he'd hit a bum, he got back in the van and quickly drove away. So let's hit it with Kochi and Price. Oh. So it's a fight. The last picture show theater. A theater manager reports that during the showing of Citizen Kane, a drunk man attempted to force his way into the theater carrying a snowboard decorated with the word Rosebud. When he was denied entry, he violently attacked the cashier and is currently fighting with the theater's security guard. Jesus Christ, this town is just wild. Alright, you two are on it. Look how much cash we got. We got 2 bands. Oh, damn. When everything goes well, the police capture the criminals and nobody dies. But the truth is, sometimes the criminals manage to escape. Just try to avoid any dead cops or civilians. Dead cops will hurt your roster, and citizens bother the mayor even more than the living ones. Hell yeah, offender caught, officers unharmed. Okay, so I'm going to pause this again, and I'm going to really say this, and I really mean it. I love the art style of this game. It's one of my favorite art styles, It's very great looking. I also have to turn down the audio even more because it's just so goddamn loud. It might be quiet for you guys, actually. I'm going to turn it up, and I'm going to leave it at that. And then I'll see if the audio is really bad. I'll fix it in the next episode. We're going to finish out this day, and then I'll split up the episode. The report of a fight, offender caught, officers unharmed. Perfect. So yeah, like I said, I think if their score is like over 200, it's like a guaranteed. Oh, okay. So armed robbery, 3 teenagers armed with a shotgun robbed a videotape store. Jesus, what do they want? Porn? And made off with their whole collection. Oh, I knew it. The criminals fled in a car, but the store manager wrote down the license plate. The owner is one Janet Brown, who lives in the suburb. What is Janet Brown doing with a bunch of porno? Let's find out. Fight. A brother and sister clash with each other over their deceased father's will. According to one of the lawyers, we don't dare separate them, and our security guard is off duty tonight. Well, maybe you should not have your security guard off duty. Let's put these two together, just to make sure we get like a fat score going on that one. Honestly, I probably should have matched like Kochi with Asano, just to make sure that their score is really high, and so they didn't get murked.
412A in progress.
41280 in progress in the ghetto. Oh, of course, instant assault. A passerby saw some teenagers attack an elderly musician. They ran away with his guitar and his money. Well, that's kind of messed up. Let's get these two people to go on that case. Now, I just realized, Direct orders. When your cops aren't sure how to proceed, they might contact you and ask how to handle the situation. Try to deal with whatever comes up, but don't waste all your time on this stuff. You have plenty of other problems on your plate. I like how it freezes time, though, so... The vehicle in question is parked right outside the Brown residence. The sound of moaning and loud laughter can be heard through the living room window. Ooh, I don't know what I want to do. Ooh. You know what? It's time to pull out the lucky dice. We rolled a 4. I'm gonna re-roll that. 3. Knock on the door. Well, they were armed with a shotgun. You know what? We're just gonna sneak in. Ah, perfect. Lovely. We got this. We hit those fat dubskis. Damn, we're actually doing pretty good, though. I was honestly surprised nothing else was going to happen during that. I kind of was a little scared that our officers were going to get, like, gunned down by these 2 teenagers or whatever. But whatever. Alright, let's see how the rest, the assault... Oh! You bastard. I think we have to wait for these people to get back before we end the day. Alright, end day. If you think you'll need a couple of extra hands tomorrow, you can order any cop to come in and work overtime. But if they're working flat out, they'll become much more exhausted. Somebody's bound to make a mistake. So Price is tired. This guy didn't do anything. These guys didn't do anything. They need to just be quiet. I'm gonna leave Price off. I'm not gonna order you to work tomorrow, but you can work tomorrow. You, and you. You all are like fine. You don't really need to. I think we'll have a fat police.
Used to be when I asked Kendrick to stay late at the office, he liked to grumble and crack wise. Nowadays, he doesn't have the strength for it. Slumped shoulders, blank stare, wrinkled skin. The past few weeks, I don't hardly recognize my old friend. In his younger years, he reminded me of a gallant royal officer in an old Kipling story. Kendrick isn't just crumbling under the weight of the public pressure, but from the shame of it all. Internal Affairs raided the library he inherited from his grandfather, hoping they'd find buckets of cash stashed in the pages. Heard about the look on his face, the fearless policeman standing helpless in horror. I've known Francis for 30 years. The past 20 years he's played loose with the law. And I know that at a certain point, every stolen dollar brings more misery than anything else. Probably sounds crazy, but I sympathize with the guy. What can I do? Your friends are your friends, and these are the waters we swim in.
Called all of the people on that list today. Now they know you're in business, so you could get a call from any of them. You don't need to worry about any of them. I've cleared them all.
And what kind of business are we talking here?
It's nothing too serious, just like you asked. Should be just a few small favors. Payments will vary depending on the situation and who you're dealing with. How much are you looking to earn?
$500,000.
$500,000? Why not a whole million?
Because everybody wants to take $1 million. Figured I'd try something different.
$500,000 in 180 days? Well, you could earn it all above board if you netted all the big fish and hit all your bonuses.
Never knew you for a fisherman.
Well, you never got into my business, and I'm not trying to get into yours. But be careful about bringing in any other cops. Sooner or later, they'll put the finger on you. And one more thing, Jack. I remember what you said, but I should probably add one more name to that list. Christopher Sand.
Sand. Christopher G. Sand. Everyone knows the name, but few could tell you who he is. The old man stays away from the spotlight. Always wears old-fashioned jeans and knitted sweaters. Gives to charity. Rarely attends social events. An avid hunter, I hear. Even dabbles in poetry. You'd never guess he's the head of the oldest and most powerful gang in the city. Goes back as far as his great-grandfather. And Sand is strict about following the old rules. He rarely involves himself in commonplace murders and robberies. Hardly needs to intimidate anyone to get his point across. The people who work for him each have their sphere. They provide protection where needed, even work with the authorities when they want to make a deal. Meanwhile, Sand pulls the strings without getting his hands dirty. People sometimes mistake his quiet approach. A couple years ago, an arms dealer decided to expand its business without asking permission. And his whole family paid the price.
Oh god, are those nooses?
In 4
Ooh.
weeks, Sand killed 31 people. Old men, women, even a few teenagers. And Sand's people made sure every paper reported it. Frank, I don't want to hear you say that name again.
Jack, please, listen to me. I'm in with these guys.
We agreed, Frank. That's not the kind of business I'm into. I don't go there. Never have, never will.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we'll get right back into this episode. Tomorrow, maybe the next day, pretty soon, you'll have your episode 2 of this series. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me today, and I hope you all have a great night or day, whatever it is.